Should you tell your twin flame how you feel? The ultimate guide to when you have a pretty good idea that you have a twin flame, and that you've met them already. If not, check out our Twin Flame Signs post to learn how to spot a twin flame. In this post, we'll go over when to tell your twin flame that they are your twin flame should you tell them even if you're not together, what to do if you tell your twin flame and they run away, why you need to tell them about your connection, and more. When should you tell them they're your twin flame? So you've realized you have a twin flame and you've probably met them, right? If not, read our post about what twin flames are and also how to reunite with your twin flame faster. Once you've done that, you'll be in a better place to think about whether or not to tell them about your feelings. So there's actually a few things to consider before telling them that you're twin flames. Before reading this, consider first that this has just been our experience, and the journey is slightly different for every twin flame couple. You might find that things happen a bit differently for you guys, and that's fine. There's not really a right or wrong way to do this, and sometimes they'll figure things out anyway. With the twin flame connection, it's very likely they'll already realize that something's different about this connection. Maybe they don't know what is different, but they know it's not the same as other connections. For Steph, this is exactly what happened. He didn't know about twin flames, but before being told, he knew something was very different. And he felt like he'd met Julia before and known her for several lifetimes. One thing we'd suggest first is that if your twin flame is with someone else, wait before telling them. Telling them at this stage just makes things more complicated and can force things to happen before it's time. That being said, here's our suggestions and advice for this common problem. Should you tell your twin flame how you feel? How to know when to tell them about your feelings. Here are the main things to consider when you're about to tell them. 1. Make sure you've not got much inner work to do. The twin flame journey is a lot about the inner work you need to do on yourselves. This happens a lot in the early stages of the journey, and if you tell your twin flame before lots of this work has been done, it's just going to make things weird and even awkward more than it needs to be. Now remember, the twin flame connection can't be broken and you're always together in other dimensions, but telling them too soon, before their ego is ready to change or accept it, will just make things more complicated than they need to be. Naturally, they'll be brought to you and they'll come to realize themselves that something's different about this connection. I felt very strongly, Steph, about Julia, before I even knew what twin flames were or what the concept involved. You can read more about our story here if you want to get more details about how and why certain things happened. I knew and felt at a soul level that I'd known her before, and that she was important, different, and something important was meant to happen here. But if she'd told me about the twin flame concept before we'd even met, things might have taken longer because I might have been freaked out by the idea. So just let things happen naturally at first. 2. Wait until you're actually reunited, or at the very least together. The best time, in our opinion, to actually tell them about the connection is when the feeling is clearly mutual and you're both in the right place for the relationship to start forming. This can be often once you've already met and potentially even got together in a relationship. For us, she told me after we'd already sort of got together. But this can be different for everyone. The critical thing is that you don't tell them too soon, but you should tell them at some point. 3. Be prepared for them to freak out a little bit. It's normal that for some twin flame couples, if you tell them too early or even if you wait until the right time, they'll freak out a bit. The thing is, our souls know what's going on the whole time. That's why you feel the sensations when you run into your twin flame for the first time, and you know deep down something's important about this person. But the ego? Well, the ego is a bit different. When we incarnated here on Earth, our egos formed and developed based on conditioning, human experiences, and culture, and this can make things a bit complicated. If someone incarnated in a particularly traditional household, things like religion and spirituality might have been frowned upon. And this can mean that for some people, accepting concepts like life after death, the soul, twin flames, and star seeds can be difficult for the ego, because the ego has created an entire structure around this life is all there is, and this physical existence is all there is. So then when someone comes and says, actually, this life is not all there is, Your soul has been split into two, and you've divinely connected with the other half of your soul, your twin flame. Your purpose here on Earth is distinct and important, and you have an important mission to carry out. That can shake things up for the ego big time. And that's a big part of what causes the running stage. Overwhelm, even fear, confusion, and worries that the ego will try and lay out for you. Doubts. Things like this are good reasons to wait until you know your twin flame is at least a little bit on the spiritual path already. For some couples, this can be a challenge, and it can be the case that your twin flame is not even a little bit spiritual right now. Sometimes this can happen. In those cases, try and gently introduce these topics, have these deep conversations about life after death, existence, reality, and duality. Open their mind slowly, because once a mind has expanded, it can never return to its original dimensions. Remember that for someone fully plugged into the matrix and identifying with their ego, the concept of purpose, starseeds, twin flames, and holographic reality will literally rip their belief about what life is into little pieces. So be gentle. 4. Surrender and be honest and open. Honesty, love, and openness are key here. They might have questions, they might have counter-arguments, or even frustration and anger. It's normal for the ego to fight back a bit. Remind them to relax and have an open mind. This is something they will have to realize on their own. The best time to tell your twin flame about your feelings is actually when you're pretty sure they're ready to hear it. You'll know deep down when this is. Is my twin flame aware of the connection? At a soul level, of course, your twin flame is aware of the connection. It's literally who they are. At an ego level, not always, and this is why it's important to wait before launching into telling them everything about the twin flame concepts. Should you tell your twin flame how you feel? You should tell your twin flame how you feel at the earliest time which you feel the feelings mutual. In terms of telling them about the twin flame connection and concept, ideally wait until you're together and you're sure they're on the spiritual path as well. This just leaves less room for error and confusion. You want their ego to be as open to the idea as possible, and this is difficult when they fully identify with their physical body, mind, and ego. What if your twin flame is unawakened? If your twin flame is not awake yet, or they're plugged into the matrix too deep, try and spend more time with them. Be the light that wakes them up. Ask them questions in a loving way that challenges their beliefs and makes them come to conclusions on their own. Ask them what they think about certain things. Listen to what they say and take it on board. In their own time, they'll come to realize. They can't not realize and wake up, because it's wired into who they are at a soul and cellular level. No amount of programming and conditioning can make them truly forget forever. Sometimes all that's needed is for you to stare into their eyes.